Sir Ian McKellen's touring the country with his new theatre production to raise funds for the quake-damaged Isaac Theatre Royal. Joining me now is the man himself who prefers to be called Ian. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Petra. Nice to see you.
Hey, look, why have you chosen to take up the cause of the Isaac Theatre Royal?
It was the last theatre I played in on stage in New Zealand with Waiting for Godot a couple of years ago, and then the devastation of the earthquake. And going around the red zone recently and realising that the Isaac Theatre Royal is one of the very few iconic buildings which is intact. It needs a facelift and needs a bit of help, but it can reopen pretty quickly, unlike other buildings. And so it just seemed it was possible to help. And of course, everybody else wants to help too. I'd initially thought, as I go around the country, that each theatre would share the profits of the take with the Isaac Theatre Royal, and they've all said, no, it's not for us, it's for them. And I hope that makes people in Christchurch feel a bit better.
It is a pretty fantastic situation when theatres get along beside each other and support each other. Can I ask what's in a place? Because you've done movies, you've done TV, you've done it all, and yet you have this love of the theatre. What is it about specific theatres?
Well, I'm living in Wellington at the moment, just finishing off the 2 Hobbit films with Peter Jackson, so, you know, reprising Gandalf. But I do have some spare time at the weekend, and I've always liked touring. And as a kid in the north of England, I was brought up going to see actors who were on tour. And so I've always felt a bit of a responsibility. And so now the chance of touring around New Zealand and visiting some places that I've not been to is lovely. I'm going to Hamilton, and, well, I've been to Hamilton before because it's so near Hobbiton. But that's on Saturday night at the Clown Street Theatre, and then we're going to Tauranga, the Harcourt Theatre on Sunday afternoon. So, you know, I probably wouldn't have been to there if it weren't for this show, and it's nice to meet people.
So it's good for you and good for the theatre, and as you say, there are tickets left for the Hawke's Bay, Tauranga and Hamilton shows. Can you tell us a tiny bit about the show? Because it's a one-man play, which obviously puts everything on you.
It's not a play. It's not a play. It's just me, and I walk out and I do really whatever the audience want, within reason. As I say, I like to get to meet them, and in Stratford, where I opened last weekend, there was a 92-year-old lady who'd won Mastermind with the special subject William Shakespeare on the front row, and on the back row was a 7-year-old boy called Luca who came down to meet me and hold Glamdring, Gandalf's sword that I tore with me, and he proceeded to kill me with it. So I'll do pretty well whatever the audience want. I'll answer questions in the first half, but in the second half it's mainly Shakespeare, and gives me a chance to revisit some parts I've played and tell stories about Shakespeare and so on.
So it's a little bit greatest hits and a little bit audience with Ian. Can I ask, while we've got you in the seat, are we going to love the Hobbit movies?
Well, I love what I've seen. I spend a lot of my time at the moment adding my voice to the soundtrack. And so I get to see the first cut of the film, and that's always an exciting moment when it's all put together, and frankly you begin to understand the plot a little bit better than you did when you were doing the actual scenes. Now, there's some great performances in it, and you know, Martin Freeman is going to win everyone's hearts as the Hobbit, and then all those dwarves, fantastic, and you know, the sight of Middle-earth again. I mean, you live in Middle-earth, you Kiwis, you know what it's all about. But for us foreigners, to see up close the magnificent scenery.
Well, it's absolutely wonderful to have you here. All the best for the productions. As we said, tickets for sale in Tauranga and Hamilton. I'm sure you can find out where to get those online. You can catch an audience with Ian and help the Isaac Theatre Royal at the same time. Thank you.